Hello, cookbook friends. Welcome to the Cookbook Divas podcast, where we help you find your next favorite brand new or vintage cookbook. I'm here with my co-host, Kaiti. Today, we're sharing our favorite picks for new cookbooks coming out the first week of August 2021.
Hello. We have been enjoying combing through publisher catalogs this week to find the most intriguing cookbooks to look forward to. But I also want to mention that there are so many cookbooks coming out in autumn.
Oh.
It's
Woo!
horrifying, but exciting.
We're not complaining. We love cookbooks, but it's kind of taking us aback. Like, wow, there's so much, and we don't want to miss all the really good stuff that we want to share with you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know that there's been a lot of delays, understandably, 2020 and whatnot. So I'm glad that there's going to be great cookbooks, but there's going to be a lot. You know, we're making up for a whole year, essentially. So, yay! So, Carrie, why don't you start us off today with your first pick?
I am so excited about this one. It's called Apres all day.
Ooh.
65 plus cozy recipes to share with family and friends. And the cover has like a snowy tree with 2 bowls of like warm, hot, steaming stew or soup or something with it. The word Apres is spelled A-P-R-E-S, so it's putting me in mind of a ski lodge.
Oh, yeah.
And I am not a skier, even though Kaiti and I live an hour from a major ski lodge or 2.
Yeah.
But I like to go to the lodge and drive other people, let's say, or take children and escort them. I sit in the lodge with a hot, steaming beverage with alcohol in it, and I bring a book, and I look out the window, and I'm the happiest person ever.
There's 2 kinds of people, the skiers and then the lodgers.
Yes.
I think I'm with you with the lodging.
But I love the idea of just coming back tired from, in my case, I would be walking through snowy woods and coming back to the house and having a hot meal. So I love ski cookbooks, and this one's definitely intended for ski bums, but non-skiers who enjoy the snow also. A cozy winter cookbook. And I'm just very excited. The author is Kelley Epstein. It's coming out this first week in August. Some of the recipes include apple pie oatmeal, tater tot nachos, aka tachos.
Oh, God.
Classic beef stew with cheesy garlic bread. A kitchen sink skillet cookie. I'm not a skillet cookie person, just make cookies, but you might want that. What else is there? They intended this for home cooks who love the mountains and mountain dwellers who like to cook, skiers and snowboarders, anyone who enjoys snow activities, those who live in places with cold winters, and armchair travelers. I'm going to buy this right now. You're going to hear me clicking, and I'm pre-ordering it. It's Apres all day, 65 plus cozy recipes to share with family and friends by Kelley Epstein.
You can definitely tell the difference in food. We're starting to transition into that heavy, awesome, warm food, but I'm also not ready yet. It's not even like August.
No, I don't. We're still barely having like salad and potato salad and burgers for dinner and grilled corn because it's really hot. It was 86 in my house last night.
Yeah,
Like, nope.
I know. And I'm like, oh, but when you talk about the tachos, oh God, that sounds amazing.
And when it's really, really hot like this, it makes me want to drink a cocktail, which helps me segue into your next book.
Yes, exactly. So my next book, it's called Art Boozel, Cocktails Inspired by Modern and Contemporary Artists. This is by Jennifer Croll and Kelly Shammy. This is a really fun little cookbook. I like they're paying tribute to all these famous artists. So we have Andy Warhol, we have, let's see who else, Salvador Dali's in here. And every recipe is based off of one of these famous artists. A couple other artists we have in here. I was surprised Yoko Ono's in here. Pablo Picasso, Richard Prince. There's a lot of different people in here. Let's see if I can pull up an actual recipe. Ooh, Frida Kahlo's in here too. The recipe is very simple and easy and fun. Everything's illustrated, and they don't really show a picture of the cocktail itself. They more showcase the illustration of the actual person, but there is a tiny, tiny little illustration of the cocktail. So, for instance, the Andy Warhol drink, it's very fascinating. It has, I think, a big tomato slice on the very top of it.
Oh, God. Is it a Bloody Mary?
It's a
made with Campbell soup?
It is made with tomato syrup.
Oh, gross. Okay.
So it's like a cucumber infused vodka, and then you've got a tomato garnish. It just does not sound appetizing, but I'm not a huge fan of Andy Warhol, so maybe it's fitting. I don't know. And
So,
then
for those of you that are listening, we're not necessarily so much recommending this cookbook to you. We're maybe warning you away from it.
I mean, like, if you're going to talk about artists, then yeah, the cocktails are probably going to be really unique. The Frida Kahlo recipe actually looks very beautiful and elegant, which is perfect because she is. It's a tequila, beautiful pink drink, and then it's garnished with watermelon and lime. It's just really, that one's really cool, and a beautiful orchid. So it's just a really fun cookbook. If you're an artist or an art history major, just any artist of any kind, this is cool. It pays tribute to all these beautiful people and their art, and gives you a little snapshot of their history. It's all illustrated, and you get to drink to them. Cheers, hooray for art. So that is the Art Boozel cookbook by Jennifer Croll and Kelley Shammy.
That sounds really trippy. We're going to move back on to another wintertime type cookbook, but it's coming out, it's been pushed to the second week of August. It's called Bowls and Broths. Build a bowl of flavor from scratch with dumplings, noodles, and more by Pippa Middlehurst. I am totally into this. I love making soup at home, and actually when I'm being a lazy cook, which is often, I am delighted that I'll make a big old bowl of soup of soup or stew on Sunday, and I'll just add stuff to it throughout the week and keep it going.
Oh, that's smart. I never thought of that.
I will change up the ingredients. Like, say I started off with tomatoes and beans and pasta and onions and carrots the first time, maybe celery. And then by day 2, it's getting kind of boring, so I'll add in something I didn't have in there before, like mushrooms or corn or, whatever.
Cool.
So anyway, Bowls and Broths by Pippa Middlehurst is by the best-selling author of Dumplings and Noodles. It's a super fresh collection of broth-based recipes that will teach you how to season and layer, which I need to do, and create versatile and exciting dishes from scratch, using seasoning and sauce, crunchy bits and fresh herbs, aromatics, and toppings. Love it, love it. I'm very excited. Oh, I can see a preview. Noodles, yay. Chicken broth from scratch, master stock. I'm hoping there's some vegetarian options. A banh mi recipe. Roast duck chintan ramen, wonton wrappers. Ooh, nice. Step-by-step photos. Jalapeno beef dan dumplings. A crispy skirt courgette and black fungus dumplings. Yes, yes, yes. But what's skirt? Is that steak? Not happening. And a chicken rice recipe. Ooh, I'm very excited. That's Bowls and Broths by Pippa Middlehurst.
Next up, we have Chinese Takeout in 5. 80 of your favorite dishes using only 5 ingredients. This is by Kwoklyn Wan, and I think this is kind of cool. So he goes back and he tries to simplify Chinese cooking by, only using 5 ingredients, and usually, at least that his pantry essentials are salt, pepper, soy sauce, sugar, and oil. And I could see that. I was kind of thinking, wow, it just seems so simple. And I was like,
it does.
You know what? Actually, I think that's pretty accurate. It's really fun. It's a really cool, funky cookbook, but it's really easy to navigate. So the first chapter, we have soups, which include like your wonderful egg drop soup, which I'm very excited about. But they have like a tom yum soup, tofu miso soup. So it doesn't seem like it's just Chinese cooking. So that was interesting to find out. We have a chapter for light bites. We have seafood, chicken and duck. Then we have meat. And then we have a whole vegetarian chapter. Hooray!
Yay.
And a condiments chapter, which is really nice and handy, especially if you don't want to buy things from the store. For like me, it's really hard to find pantry essentials. Like a lot of things have gluten in them, surprisingly, including soy sauce. So I have to be really careful. So learning how to make these condiments would be really cool. And then the last chapter, of course, is your desserts and drinks. Some of the recipes that really popped out to me are, we have like a sweet soy pulled chicken. There's a prawn toast, which I was like, what is that? That sounds interesting. We have a honey glazed chili wing recipe. I know my husband would totally love that recipe. Anyway, this is a really great Chinese cookbook that you would want. It has great photos. The recipes are very, very simple. He provides tips throughout that are going to be really helpful for those that haven't approached, Asian cooking in general. It can seem very complicated. So I really appreciate that he's added additional tips and additional methods of cooking this, especially if you're vegetarian. That's really helpful too. So that is Chinese Takeout in 5 by Kwoklyn 1.
My next book is a quick little book from Tea Time magazine. It's called Come for Tea, Favorite Recipes for Scones, Savories, and Sweets. The editor is Lorna Reeves. I cannot see the inside of the cookbook for a preview, but I do love Tea Time magazine. So I'm sure they did a great job. The cover is gorgeous. It has one of those 3-tiered stands that they put all these pastries on. And I was just wondering why we do not serve sushi that way.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be awesome to go to like a green tea tasting and then have either sushi or dim sum on these tiered stands, like little finger foods that you could pop into your mouth?
Oh my God. This is... Shh.
I know.
This is our next restaurant idea, Carrie.
Yes. Well, I don't ever want to own a restaurant, but I want to eat in them often. That is Come for Tea, Favorite Recipes for Scones, Savory, and Sweets by Tea Time magazine. The editor is Lorna Reeves. And that will segue us, speaking of sushi, into a Japanese-style cookbook that Kaitie's going to talk about next.
I know. I was just thinking that this would be absolutely perfect for that idea you have with teas. It is called Cute Bakes, Adorable Kawaii-Inspired Cakes and Treats by Juliet Sear. It comes out the first week of August. And this is such a fun, colorful, vibrant, and super adorable, as kawaii means adorable, cookbook. It is just so much fun. Let's see if I can pull up some of the chapters in here. So we have kawaii bakes, which means like cookies, cakes. They even include extras. So extras meaning like meringue snowmen, which you could probably put on top of your cakes and stuff like that. Bunny and panda bear macaroons. Oh, so cute. I'm gonna die. They have super cute kawaii cat donuts. They also go into recipes and techniques. So some of these things are a little bit different as far as your approach. It's not necessarily a Western approach for like a traditional cake. Sometimes they have like those jiggly cakes. I don't know if some of you might have seen them online. That's more of a special Southeast Asian way of making cake. So they go into kind of the different techniques that you're going to see throughout this cookbook, which I appreciate. I think that's great. And then you can apply it to other things as well if you wanted to expand beyond this cookbook and try things yourself. Some examples of that is they have their own version of a choux pastry. They have vanilla whipped cream. You can make your own marshmallows. They also have gingerbread cookies and chocolate sponges, vanilla sponges. This is just overall an adorable little cookbook. It would be perfect for tea. Everything's adorable and just I can nerd out about this all day. It's so cute.
I love this author. Juliet Sear did the Cake Decorating Bible. She did the Botanical Baking Cookbook. That's amazing. She did Cakeology, which is way above my skill set, but I like to flip through it. She did Hawaii Cakes 3 years ago. I love her.
I don't think I would have a problem approaching any of these recipes. And some of the more complicated ones, I do appreciate that she's provided a photo for step-by-step processes for some of the more complicated things. So I like that she's made it easier for us to understand. And yeah, it's really awesome. So definitely check out Cute Bakes, Adorable Kawaii-Inspired Cakes and Treats by Juliet Sear.
I also have a Japanese-inspired cookbook up next. It's called Fresh Bento, Affordable, Healthy Box Lunches Your Kids Will Adore by Wendy Thorpe Copley. There's 46 bento boxes. And if you recall, I used to pick up Katie's and my cousin Ethan after school every day because he happened to go to the school right next to my house. And I had a little bento box that I would fill with his after-school snacks. But I didn't actually do Japanese-style foods because he's a very picky eater. So it would be like pretzels and grapes and cheese. And he'd get a couple just little sweet items, but mostly fruit and cheese.
I love that. I think that's a really good idea. I used to actually pack myself little adorable bento boxes too.
Now that's self-care. That's perfect.
It's good to like put everything in little sections so you're learning how to I guess so you don't overeat. I love eating food, so it's a great way to maintain all of that stuff. Anyway.
I'm peeking at the table of contents, and they're doing it alphabetically. Alphabet bentos. A is for astronaut. B is for barbecue beef. There's crab, donut, egg roll, falafel, gyoza. House, I'm not sure what that means. I is for ice cream. Jellyfish. Please don't feed jellyfish to children. I'm hoping it's like gummy worms or something. Kebabs, lettuce, meatballs, nutty noodle nest, owl and octopus onigiri, pepperoni pita pizza, quesadilla, rainbow, etc. Then she goes into number bentos. Number 1 is the unicorn. Number 2, a pair of mittens. Number 3, triangles, the Four Seasons, stars, garden. She does color bentos, such as a white bento box, pink bento box, red, etc.
Oh, goodness.
That is super fun. And I'm peeking at some of the pictures. Oh, adorable. It's very inspiring. I can see the house bento and its little sandwiches cut up and decorated to look like little houses. I love it.
That's
okay, I'm buying it. Making this cookbook podcast is incredibly difficult on my wallet.
Oh, God, yes.
That is Fresh Bento, affordable, healthy box lunches your kids will adore by Wendy, Thorpe, Copley. Now, we're going to take a little pause here and beg you to give us some feedback on the podcast. We don't know how we're doing. We're hoping you're enjoying it. We'd love to have you drop by Apple Podcasts and leave us a star rating and a review. We'd love to have you drop by our blog and leave comments on our podcast posts. Constructive though, please. And we're also on Facebook, and would love to hear from you there. What are you looking for in a cookbook podcast? And do you watch my cookbook news show, which I post on video to Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube? And now we're back to Katie's next book pick.
Yeah, my next book pick is called The High Country Cook. It's by Pip Cameron, and I'm going to read what the publisher has to say. So Pip lives on a huge high country station in Canterbury near Lake Benmore. I'm assuming this is England. Her husband is one of the 5th generation to own and run the station, and one of her roles on the station is to feed the teams of workers, and she shares her recipes on her popular Instagram page, What's for Smoko. This cookbook has 25 of her recipes, and it's very hearty, very, this is definitely fare you would see for hard workers. Haha. It's also beautifully photographed, and you kind of get to see the world of station life. It's interesting. And it's not just an Instagram page. I did look at her website. It's What's for Smoko, and these recipes look so awesome. They're perfect for wintertime. And if some of these recipes on her web, I'm not able to look inside the actual cookbook, but on the website, she does provide very awesome recipes. And hopefully some of these are in her cookbook. So on her website, she's got like a hearty beef broth winter bowl. And I can see this pairing really well with this other thing. It's Mom's Quick Cheese Rolls. I want that so bad. They also have penny pinwheels, Dayton walnut cake, quick salmon quiche, cinnamon scrolls. She also has poppy scones. It's just really awesome. I love this, and I think a lot of these are really portable too. So you're not like confined to needing a microwave. You can actually take this, in a thermos, like the soup you could take in a thermos, or you can take like a little quiche with you, and you don't really have to heat it up or anything.
Cute.
Yeah,
Picnic.
It's really cool.
Picnic time with wine, of course.
Yeah, it's great for picnics too. So that's The High Country Cook. It's by Pip Cameron.
My next cookbook I'm just going to briefly mention, because I don't know anything about the topic. It's the Jackfruit Cookbook.
Oh.
Over 50 sweet and savory recipes to hit the flavor jackpot. It's by Heather Thomas. It came out from eBerry Press, and I've never cooked with jackfruit or eaten it. I see it at Trader Joe's in like things you can microwave.
Yeah.
What does it taste like?
It's a really good substitute for meat. So a lot of I've had multiple jackfruit tacos before. It's really nice because you can make it sweet or savory. The taste isn't super prominent. It's supposed to taste like a combination of banana and apple.
Ooh.
So it's got that really great texture, but it doesn't have a huge flavor, so you can kind of make it taste however you want to. Kind of like tofu a little bit. It's great.
On the cover, it sure looks like fried tofu and it's wrapped up in a tortilla. So this might
Ooh,
be a nice fusion cookbook. It's by
yeah.
Heather Thomas. And the chapters are snacks, breakfast, brunches, and salads, light meals, main meals, desserts, preserves, and drinks. So that's the Jackfruit Cookbook by Heather Thomas.
My next cookbook I'm also going to briefly talk about. It is Magnolia Kitchen Design, A Journey of Sweet Inspiration. It's by Bernadette Guy. And apparently Magnolia Kitchen fans have been dying for more images of her cakes and creations that she had to she had to make another book. I love that. They're like, give me more. And she's like, okay, fine, I guess.
A victim of your own success.
Yeah, these are just stunning. If you go on Amazon and they have luckily a look through, you can see, even the cover, she's painting on one of these elegant cakes. It's like a canvas for her, but when you look through the photos themselves, her cakes are just phenomenal. Like, this is what every bride would want for a wedding because they're just these amazing cakes. I'm trying to see if they have more than just cakes, but regardless, this is just a beautiful, I would say even a coffee table book, but if you want to learn more of the techniques behind making these amazing, wonderful, sweet treats, I think this is a cool book and it's inspiring. If you're a baker and you're like, I want to learn how to be like her, you should get this book for sure. So that's Magnolia Kitchen Design, A Journey of Sweet Inspiration by Bernadette Guy.
My next cookbook is the Rana Cookbook by Rohini Rana. It is recipes from the palaces of Nepal.
Ooh.
And it has been years since I looked through a Nepalese cookbook.
Oh.
I'm dying to check this out. Right now, Amazon has it listed at a crazy $49.50. That's not going to happen.
Wow.
And they have an error because the Kindle edition is supposedly $100. I'm sorry. No. Someone goofed. I think they mean $10. But it sounds, if it's going to be that expensive, I'll just have to grab it from the library. I want to mention that the cover has a stunning serving platter shaped like a fish, and that there's rice and possibly some asparagus, yes, in the middle, and then all around the edges in little tiny, not containers, little crevices, little sauces that you could mix into the rice. Oh, I love this idea.
Oh, man. Oh.
Dying. Don't know anything about the author? The palaces of Nepal were known not only for their glamour and architecture, but also for their royal feasts. The recipes of the food served were exclusively with the cooks of the palaces, and a lucky few who inherited them from earlier generations. The publisher writes that in this exquisite book, for the first time ever, the doors to the palace kitchens are opened and we get a glimpse into the mouth-watering cuisine of the royals. Nepali food is famous for its fresh and light flavors in the staple rice, dals, meat, and vegetables. The food of the Ranas, however, is vastly influenced by Indian flavors. While Indian food is renowned for its rich, thick gravies, Nepali cuisine tends to prefer lighter jals and dry boutans and kawafs. Whatever, I might have said that wrong. Raw materials such as meat and vegetables can easily be found in the Indian kitchen, but the style of preparation and spices such as jimbu and timur are unique to the Nepali flavor. I cannot wait to check this out. That is the Rana Cookbook by Rohini Rana.
I'm excited too. I might have to get that one also. My next cookbook is Small Plates, over 150 ideas for bites and nibbles. It is by our favorite editors of Cider Mill Press.
Yay! They're hardworking. They're very hardworking people.
They really are. So, like we've said before, Cider Mill Press has very easy, approachable recipes, which is very important. They also provide a photo, a huge photo for every single recipe. And I appreciate that. So yeah, they are hardworking. Getting that many photos in a cookbook, that's insane. So there are 150, but it's not just recipes. It includes tips and tricks for creating spreads and, small bites and themes around if you wanted a party and you didn't want to create like this huge meal, you could have just a whole bunch of little small bites all together and people could just kind of pick and pull whatever they wanted. So that includes, they've provided ways of creating meat and cheese spreads with bread and crackers, stuff like that. They have seasonal salads and sides, and they do include bigger meals, but let me share what's in the table of contents. So the beginning is sauces, dips, and spreads. Then they move on to breads and crackers. Then they go into dumplings and other decadent bites. I like that dumplings is its whole thing. It's a great side. And then the next chapter is in the garden. Then they go to from land to sea. And then the final chapter is desserts. And I just think it's a really easy cookbook to navigate through. It has a lot of standard recipes that we'd really want. Like they have a basil pesto sauce in here. There's a harissa sauce, which most guests that I've had, they all love that kind of stuff. They have green goddess dips. They have recipes for like things like corn dogs to confit duck legs. I mean, it's very vast, the difficulty for each recipe and how fancy you want to be. It's great for, kids' parties. It's great for adult parties. Overall, really cool cookbook. It's small plates, over 150 ideas for bites and nibbles by Cider Mill Press.
My final cookbook today is a little bit silly. It's the unofficial Simpsons cookbook. From Krusty Burgers to Marge's Pretzels, famous recipes from your favorite cartoon family. It's by Laurel Randolph. And Katie has a stepfather who loves The Simpsons.
Oh, obsessed with The Simpsons.
So I think I know what your Christmas present to him is going to be.
Right. Oh, God.
Let's see if we can peek at some things in here. Monkey paw turkey sandwiches. Hopefully not made out of real monkeys.
Oh, God, no.
There's an I love you breakfast that's spelled out with bacon and eggs. The eggs, of course, at the O's. There's Marge's patented Happy Cracker snack platter.
Oh, God.
Squishies, which is a green beverage that looks all frosty.
So just a quick pause. I have always wanted to learn how to make a squishy. Because I watched the show as a kid, and they would always talk about squishies, and I was like, I need one. It's a Slurpee, but, it's bright green. It's so cool.
There's a recipe for bloody spearhead cookies, which are apparently from the season 9 episode called Miracle on Evergreen Terrace. And there's a Flaming Moe from Flaming Moe's season 3. That is the unofficial Simpsons cookbook by Laurel Randolph.
That's awesome. My final cookbook is called Tom Carriage's Outdoor Cooking, the Ultimate Modern Barbecue Bible. It's by Tom Carriage. Crazy. So he's a Michelin-starred chef. He loves barbecue. He's from Britain, so that's probably why he's not super familiar to me, at least. There's a lot of really cool recipes in here, so I'm just going to go straight into that. They have a halloumi skewer recipe that looks amazing. There's a umami mushroom and halloumi burger.
I need it.
That sounds pretty cool. Stuffed sweet potatoes. The ultimate hot dog, which it's really hard to read, but it has curry powder in it, and I love curry powder. My husband does too. They also have a shawarma chicken wrap recipe in here. I like that he's provided recipes that are vegetarian friendly and, for outdoor cooking and meat friendly, but it's not the stereotypical stuff you usually see, like burgers. And I mean, yes, there was a hot dog recipe, but it was different. It was a different kind of hot dog recipe. And they had, I just like that he's provided more than just the stereotypical things in here and, steaks and whatnot. It's just got a lot of interesting things. There's 80 recipes. He also provides tips and advice for creating an awesome summer barbecue or even camping and outdoor gatherings with family and friends, which I think a lot of us are going to start having or are already having right now. So this is a really cool cookbook, and I'm glad it's coming out before summer ends so we can actually enjoy a little bit of it before we start, packing it in and staying inside next to our fireplaces again. So that's Tom Carriage's Outdoor Cooking, the Ultimate Modern Barbecue Bible.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Cookbook Divas podcast. We'd love to hear your ideas for upcoming episodes and minisodes. We publish on Tuesdays and on Fridays generally. You can find our podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also find our cookbook look-through videos on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube under Cookbook Divas. We have a blog where we write about cookbook news and surface vintage cookbooks that we're interested in as well. Basically, we're all cookbooks all the time. Thanks again for listening, and have a great week.